Namaskar, my name is Rahul Yadav. I'm a blood cancer fighter and I have been fighting blood cancer for the last 3 years. I have multiple myeloma and I've had a lot of treatment from chemo cycles, about 15-16 chemo cycles, and a bone marrow transplant, then a relapse, so it was cancer for the second time. Then after that I again had some very severe chemotherapy and then had a second bone marrow transplant. Then I came into remission and then I again had a minor issues, and I'm still under a lot of chemotherapy and some maintenance that is going on. But the reason we are having this video here is that there are a lot of people who have no clue what cancer is, or how to deal with it. If something happens in your family, how do you deal with that, right? So here I'm trying to have a small flowchart where I'm trying to tell you how should one go about it. So do have a look, and then also feel free to share this video with somebody, because it might just help somebody, because people are really very confused. Now, the most dreaded words anybody can hear is that if somebody is told that he or somebody in his family has cancer. Nobody is ready for such a thing. Nobody is. So taking from here, I don't know if this chart is clear. Taking from here, diagnosis is something which is itself a very traumatic incident. You don't know what it means. You don't know what the expectations are. What is the outcome? Patients generally start thinking that what next? Do they have is this curable, not curable? What happens? And the family doesn't know what to do. At diagnosis stage, one has to stay calm. It's difficult, obviously, but one has to stay calm. Figure out what the diagnosis is. Understand there are hundreds and hundreds of types of cancer. Now, which cancer do you have? Okay, that's very important. What happens in this cancer? What is the general treatment? Learn about that. Read about that. Ask your doctor about it. Don't just believe in what somebody tells you. Research, figure it out. Find another cancer patient who has gone through the same thing, or at least do a little bit of Google search, not too much. I won't suggest that to start with, okay? And once you have done that, what happens is, once you get diagnosed, immediately you have to start thinking about the treatment. Now quickly I'll say, in some cases the treatment is not possible. Where, for example, if say the person is pretty old, he already has multiple issues. Say it's a diabetic patient, has an heart issues, already is on under treatment for a lot of things. So then the whole concept is that sometimes you don't even take treatment. Then it goes to palliative care, okay, or hospice, where you're trying to work on the quality of life and not quantity of life. Okay, so it's a concept which you can Google. Here we're trying to make a good living for the person and a healthy living for that person for whatever time he has. Again, even at palliative care, there have been cases that they have lived for much longer and there have been no issues whatsoever. Okay, but assuming that we do go ahead and take the treatment, and we should, what happens is there are various things that you can do. Obviously, the most specific thing and the thing that one must do or should do mostly is go for the regular proven allopathy treatment, which is available in the market. There are studies, there are n number of tests, and then finally these medicines are there, and obviously these things are proven. So go ahead and do your allopathy treatment. For that you need to figure out which hospital to go for, which location you are in. Now if you're in a small location, you might have to go to a bigger hospital somewhere. You also have to figure out the cost, because it is an expensive treatment, right? Apart from that, you have to figure out which is the best doctor for a particular type of cancer. So for example, if it is breast cancer, now which hospital has the best service and which hospital has the best doctors for that particular condition. So figure that out, decide on your treatment, ask your doctor about the things. Always be open in taking multiple opinions. You can ask another doctor, see what the other hospital is saying, see what the cost they're offering you. Once that cost, everything is decided, make a call and go for your treatment. Okay? I'll also touch upon the other things that people can do or they do, right? Sometimes you don't want to go for the allopathy for various reasons. Money, or maybe, various things, or what your thought process is. Sometimes people only go for alternative. I won't suggest that to start with. Always start with allopathy, try and get the treatment done, and then maybe later you can look at alternative, or even you can have allopathic treatment with some supplements. But be careful what supplements you take. Don't just take anything. See and do things which are proven to be good. Like haldi, for example, has curcumin, which is supposed to have anti-cancerous property. Now, haldi will not do any harm to the body. Have it. Lemon, increase your, the content of lemon that you have, or have various other things in terms of, a healthy diet, do yoga, stuff like that. So that will to supplement the treatment itself, right? Wheatgrass juices and stuff like that. So moving on, your treatment starts, and then you're given chemotherapy, you're given various treatments. Sometimes you're given radiation, sometimes there is a surgery, sometimes there are multiple chemos that are given to you, multiple cycles happen, sometimes you even need a bone marrow transplant. So various cancers are different. One must understand that. Once that happens, eventually what will happen is, you'll get into remission. The word is remission when it comes to cancer, because remission is something that you don't have any more signs of the disease. That's what remission means. So it's a word that is being used all the time. So you get into remission, you get into a long-term remission, so it's a cure, everything is well. Take care of your treatment, take post-care treatment, lead a healthy life, lead a good lifestyle, try and do physical activities, try and build your body from within, and maybe do yoga, maybe do a lot of meditation, eat the right kind of food, don't do the wrong things, obviously. So that is how the whole treatment goes. But it's not that simple in most of the cases. So what happens is, sometimes the chemo stops working. Sometimes the particular drug doesn't have much effect on it. Or sometimes there is a relapse. Now what's a relapse? You're in remission, you're cancer free, but then after some time the cancer comes back. Okay, that's the bad thing about cancer. Cancer does come back sometimes. So if it comes back, still you have the whole option of going again for the treatment. You can go for the allopathy, go for some other options which are available. Even sometimes if there are no options available, even if there are no options available, and even if the doctor says that there's nothing else, you can still explore alternatives. And there are a lot of alternatives that are available in the country. Obviously, be careful in what you take, and ideally tell your doctor, and do not end up doing anything stupid, because it will end up messing up the body. So take a review, speak to people, see what works for others, and then only after a thorough research that you go for something. Do not end up just believing anybody. So join a support group where people have used something, and then only go about it. Get the feedback. Don't just believe anything on the internet, the blogs, or some distant uncle telling you something that he heard that this thing works, right? That jadi booty works. Don't go for that. Now coming back here, if there are no effects and no options, then you can go back and try and do things. There's also another third thing that happens, which is called the new drug trials or the clinical trials. Now that's another thing that is not well known in India. Outside US, UK, it's pretty well known. Now what it means is, there are these drugs which are being tested, and people are, it's not been approved yet, but some of them are promising. So you can explore what are the clinical trials that are ongoing. This is all available on the internet. There are specific sites to it. We'll try and put it in the description. Search if there is a clinical trial happening for your particular condition. Go for it. If nothing else is working, sometimes we've had cases that people have had a great response to clinical trials. There have been cases that even with alternative, where people have been told that there is no other option available, yet the patient went for some alternative and he is doing wonderfully well. Okay, so again, I've tried to break it down. Have a look at this. Obviously, this is not the right thing or the exact thing one has to follow 100%. But this gives you a picture in a much simpler way. So let's not make it more complex than it is. Make it simple. Fight it out. You have to be strong. You have to be strong as a patient. You have to be strong as a family. You have to come together. And as a community, you can come together. So, for example, we have started Yoddhas, which is a cancer support NGO. We are having patients all over India, and these are patients who are purely on the voluntary basis, doctors who are working with us on the voluntary basis and are guiding and counseling patients for free, right? Because the feedback from another patient is something that is more genuine than anybody else, right? So when you have a collective information of say 13,000 members that we have, that's something which is strong and which gives you the right thing. So always stay strong, have faith, and be a Yoddha and be a fighter. For any doubts, contact us, and we would love to help you further. Please share this video. I hope this is useful. If you have any doubts on this, please write it below, and would love to discuss it further. If you feel that there is something that we missed or something that should be done also, do mention it. Alright. Thank you so much. I hope this video is helpful.